How long did you run for yesterday?
2 hours or 2:15 something.
Welcome to Cross Paths, the brand new UTMB World Series podcast. Each month, 2 trail runners, one elite and one amateur, will meet and discuss what trail running means to them. In their conversation, they'll also reveal what drives them in life and how they express it on the hills. They will share their common passions, interests, beliefs, and get to know each other along the way. And so will we. In this first episode, we welcome top Swedish elite runner Peter Engdahl. In 2022, Peter won the 100-kilometer CCC race at the UTMB Mont-Blanc in less than 10 hours. He also has an impressive UTMB Index of 921. Peter is joined by Doud Cousty, a French outdoor enthusiast and father of 2, and the pair met in Geneva right after a skimo race that they both took part in. They spoke about their inspirations, how to balance work and their passion for the mountains, the love for their families, a twisted ankle, and of course Bruce Springsteen. We hope you'll enjoy this privileged moment where they crossed paths.
Hey dude, ça va?
Good morning, Peter. Ça va?
Ça
Et toi?
va? Ah, très bien, merci.
Did you go for a run this morning?
No, not yet. No.
Not yet. So
yes.
You will go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here in Geneva with my teammate Hugo Deck. We will go up in the mountains here outside from Geneva in the afternoon.
You're 28. You're Swedish and based in Norway.
Exactly. Live in Romsdal in Norway. Really love the country there, and I moved to Norway 3 years ago. And you are based in Annecy?
Based in Annecy, and I grew up in Les Contamines, which is in between Megève and Chamonix.
Yes, it's where you start to get a little bit tired during the UTMB race, I guess.
You study industrial design. Is it still the case? Or?
Yes, so I'm at my 3rd year at industrial design at NTNU in Norway. And now it's more studying from a distance. I lived in Trondheim last year, and then now it's a little bit more flexible with studies and so on. So I could move to Romsdal, where I live and train now, so that I can have better conditions for training. Trondheim is a really nice city, but it's not ideal for trail running. So I decided to move there during the winter and see if I liked it. And I really did. I have training a lot with Kilian Jornet and Jonathan Albon in the area, so it's just perfect for training, but it works really well with the studies.
Do you ski as much as you run in winter, or what's the share between running and skiing in winter?
In the winter is mostly skiing. If it's good conditions, then it's the base of the training is skiing, Nordic skiing and ski mountaineering. This year it's been more ski mountaineering, but I still run maybe 40k a week, having some flat run either on the treadmill or on the asphalt. And now the last weeks I started to run a little bit more up hills and in the trails where it's better conditions, but mostly skiing. And for you?
And for me, it's working. I have a normal job. and I love it. I love working, and I managed to go running at lunchtime because I work for a running company and skiing company in Annecy. So we all get to go running at lunchtime, which is really nice. I ride my bike to work every day, which is good training, putting the kids in the trailer. So that's a daily training, and I get to ski sometimes for work and every weekend anyway. So in winter it's fully skiing, either with the kids and the wife. They are all very keen, grew up skiing. So it's a mountain family, I would say. So I'll get to enjoy it different than you, like in a different way, but I enjoy it a lot. Yeah. And I share lots of good moments with them.
Talking about skiing, when did you decide that you wanted to do Pieramenta? That was we met very quickly during the last stage of Pieramenta. It's a very famous ski mountaineering race here in France. How was your experience?
Experience was amazing. It was never a dream, but since I was a kid, we all hear about the Pieramenta. When you grow up in the mountain, Pieramenta is a myth. Yeah. It's like something only good, almost crazy people do, like running up the mountains and skiing for 4 days on the ridge. One colleague at work who asked me one day after lunch run, I really want to do Pieramenta, could you come with me? All right, let's do this. You started as a cross-country skier and you said you still cross-country ski. What made you move from cross country to mountaineering or running? What's driving you to keep to change, to not do only cross country skiing?
Even though it's both skiing, it's two completely different ways of skiing. In Nordic skiing, you're going more short hills, up and down. I think for me now, I'm mostly focusing on trail running. Ski mountaineering is more close to trail running. You're doing long ascents and just climbing uphill for a long time. You get that kind of endurance. Easier on skimo skis, I think, than Nordic skiing is more like explosive, fast. It's a little bit like if you would compare running on the flat or cross country compared to like running in the mountains and having a lot of ascent and descents. So I just wanted to try and see if doing more ski mountaineering could bring something for my trail running.
Does it?
We will see. It's my first winter doing ski mountaineering, so I guess we will see in a couple of months how it feels. But I feel like it's been very good training, and I evolved a lot physically. And we just have to wait and see. Cross country worked really well as well, but it was really motivating to do something new, and I decided for this year to not try to compete at the highest level at Nordic skiing anymore. Nordic skiing was my main sport, like what I wanted to race in the Olympics, and did a few World Cups for the Swedish team, but at the end my heart, I think, belonged to trail running, I guess, and it was there where I felt the most happy, and in that community and in those races and so on.
And can you tell what makes you happy when you run? Like, what is it compared to cross-country skiing? What is so different? Because you could think that you're actually doing an effort that is a long effort in the nature anyway.
It's, I guess, the simplicity of running, just going out wherever you are, take a pair of running shoes and just run, is so amazing. You don't have to drive to ski and have equipment and so on, I guess, is one factor. And then it's also the community of the trail running is really amazing. I remember the first time when I went to sky running race or a trail running race that I just felt this is really special, and you have so many who goes to the race not only to perform but just to run as fast as they can in the mountains, and to do it for the view and for the pleasure and to push themselves or for the food afterwards, but also to perform. You have all these kind of different people going out, and you have experienced something that you feel gives you something, and that is really nice.
It's very mixed. I agree that you can meet people from everywhere and different backgrounds.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Really nice. When was your first race, trailing race?
I did a lot of cross-country growing up, but the first proper trail running race was a small local race home in Sweden. And I just remember feeling it was so amazing to go out in the mountains and run with free speed. Like normally when I was running in the mountains, it was always slow and you just go for a hike or something, and then just, now I can run as fast as I wanted. And that was really cool. Then the next year I went to Limone Sul for the Limone Sky Race, which was in the Sky Running series, and after that I was just hooked. I think it was really cool.
You started running for longer distance after that? Or how did you choose to go for long distance like you did last year, CCC, under 10 hours?
I think I have always had a curiosity for the longer events. When I started to follow the trail running scene and get into the sport, you immediately start to hear about the iconic race like UTMB and CCC and all these longer races, and it fascinated me really, like, how can you run for this long? How would you feel? And I gradually moved myself up in distance from each year. For me it was really long to run 24K, I think the Limone Sky Race was, because in Nordic skiing where I was competing we raced for 45 minutes to sometimes 2 hours at the 50K, but no longer distances, so still racing Limone was really long. And then I remember racing in Zermatt at the Matterhorn Ultrax the year after, doing a 50K, and that was like huge. I was so tired afterwards, and I thought like I can't run any longer than that. But you get a different mindset from each year and each experience, and I didn't want to move from running 20k to immediately to 100k, so I gradually build myself up to it.
And is there a limit? Do you feel like there's a limit?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's 100k was long, but I felt during the end of CCC during UTMB, which is 100k from Colmayeur to Chamonix. We run the second half of the UTMB course, that I could probably continue a little bit more. I've always been fascinated about UTMB and the 100 miles distance, and to see how the body feels after that. So yeah, we will see. If we go back to your roots, what is your interest and place for sports when you were young?
So I grew up in the mountains too. So I loved skiing, obviously alpine skiing first, and then I switched to snowboarding for a long time. And I still love snowboarding. I think I snowboard more often than I ski in the Alps, like when I go even touring with a split board. Now it's quite easy to get access to bigger mountains thanks to the split boarding technology and the access it gives to the mountains now. So I love split boarding a lot still now, and then I started running as a training too before winter when I was snowboarding with friends. I just enjoyed going out there. You know, when there's no snow on the ground, you wonder what you're going to do the next day. It's like, I'm just really longing to see some snow on the ground. What are we doing? Let's go for a run, and it will make the snow come for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, you're working for a sport brand in Annecy and doing a lot of stuff. You have a wife and you have a family. Like, how do you find the balance between the training and your personal life?
I'm lucky enough to have a family that understands me and understand the need to go out almost every day, and to not always practice as for competition, but just to get some fresh air. And as you said, I totally agree that running is the easiest way, especially trail running, because you're out of the city. It's the easiest way to escape and to go and find yourself on your own for could be an hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, but it's a feeling I love and I need. Since they understand, I find the balance. Like, I look after the kids, then I go for a run, or I go early in the morning before I go to work, or lunchtime. But you always find when it's the right balance.
And do you go together as a family sometime?
Not running, they hate running.
Oh, really?
No, my son likes it. My wife doesn't like running at all, but she likes skiing a lot. But I think my son would get onto running, and we bike a lot together. So we ride our bikes, we go for bike tours all together on a day or two and enjoy the nature the same way.
Do you think your kids will grow up to like running more, or be skiing or so on?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm trying to not push them so they want to do it and they don't feel they have to. I think I would love them to take on cross-country skiing when they're very little, because I think it's a great school, and like, you have to deserve your speed. Yeah. It's not like you're only going down, and yet you can have fun. And I'm sure that... Was it fun, cross-country skiing, when you were a kid?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah?
I was grown up on skis, and it was always something I really enjoyed. As soon as the first snow came down, we were always out in the garden and skied around the house and made the tracks. So for me, skiing growing up was the best, I think.
And Nordic skiing is fun.
Yes, it's really fun.
Yeah, and that's what I want to push them to. Their mom is a Nordic skier, so hopefully they'll take on this one day. Yeah. And they'll accept to push and not only slide down. Yeah. Because it's different than alpine skiing, for sure.
For sure. If we go back to the running, what do you think about when you're running, like when you come home from work or you have a weekend where you go out and run? What do you think about then? Are you listening to music or podcasts, or do you just want to clear your mind during a hard week, or why do you run?
I want to escape everything, so there'll be no music, no podcast, no anything, and I'll probably just plan. It's my moment of just going out, being on my own and suffering a bit. I think it helps me. As soon as I start suffering or putting a big effort, I have the feeling that my mind is escaping, and I think even tidy itself, like things are getting together when I run in my mind. Yeah. Really, when you've had a hard week, a hard day, as soon as you go running, I really have that feeling that things are getting fixed by themselves in your mind. I really like that feeling. Do you have a routine, a discipline that you stick to every day?
No, not really. I was more structural and neat on how my day was going to look like before, but now I'm more flexible, and especially in Norway where we live now, the conditions can be very varied. Sometimes it's storm, sometimes it's sunshine, and sometimes it's good for training, sometimes it's really bad. So me, John and Killian, when we plan our training together, we look at the week and see what days is good for interval training, what days are good for long days out in the mountains. So we are quite flexible in training, and that I really like. The most important thing is to do the training, and if it's one day or another doesn't matter so much for me anymore. Doing the training is the most important thing at the end.
And do you vary sports even in summer? Do you ride bikes, or do you manage to run? Like, is running not too hard to run every day for your body, like physically?
So this summer was the first time where I didn't do any other sports, really. I do some climbing and a little bit of mountaineering, but still moving by foot. Before I did a lot more roller skiing. I was training for the winter, so I obviously had my roller skis with me wherever I went in the world. But now this summer I want to see how I felt to only run, and how the body and the legs would cope with that. It's a different kind of impact on the body. You can't really do much hours as I could before when I had the cross training, but I felt like my running evolved a lot, especially like running economy, the conditionings for the legs and the neuromuscular things really evolved, so it was really interesting. Now I only use the winter to ski, to change the movement and to rest the legs a little bit from the impact of the hard running, but now slowly changing so that it's running, skiing, and then slowly transitioning to only be running.
Back to the impact, full-time impact.
Yes, exactly. It's different. Skiing is like you get really tired in the muscles, but when you run, you get destroyed. Yeah. It's really different, for sure.
And have you been injured before because of this, or not yet?
No, not really. Not any major injuries. I guess I either have been lucky or just good at listening to the body, maybe. Yeah. And I would hope the second thing, maybe.
Do you have to spend lots of time exercising, like at the gym, like doing weights and squats and stuff to make sure you don't get hurt? Or does it work as it is?
I used to be a lot in the gym. It's a big part of Nordic skiing, like to be strong and to be explosive, especially in the upper body. So I used to go like 3-4 times to the gym and doing a lot of explosive exercises and core and so on. I think now when I only do trail running, I just need to be strong enough, to have a good body position and to stay physically healthy. So I do some climbing, some core, and sometimes some jumps or agility and drills, like natural strength exercises. I don't really go to the gym and do bench press or this heavy lifting that I did more before. I have a lot of strength still from my period as a Nordic skier, naturally. So, what's the greatest mind blown on a race, or the best experience you had during a race?
I think the best experience running a race was 2 years ago in the Maxi race that you came second to, I think. Yes, I was there in 21, and the best moment was when I met my family right before the last hike. The last when we can drink and have food. Then there's a very last hike that's about half an hour, I think. And it was getting long because it was that race we started at night because it was cancelled because of COVID.
Okay.
So Maxi was in October and we started at midnight. So most of the race was run in the dark. When the sun rise in the morning, it was almost the end and the family was there, and it was just bright. My day was made. There was no hike anymore in my mind. I could just finish that race sprinting for an hour. It made it super easy.
That's
very
amazing.
Easy. Yeah, and it's funny how your mind just changed. It was really tough just before, and as soon as I saw these guys saying, "Yeah, it's almost the end. Just get up that mountain and then finish it," it was like, "Yeah, that's easy."
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny how it really drive the mind. I guess you go through very hard moments in a long race too. And, and what's your key mental, your mental key to go through these difficult times? Do you have tricks or?
First of all, like try to think on what I need to do to drive me forward. It really depends on the situation, but you have to stay calm and you have to stay focused during a long race and focus on what to do and not what other people are doing. Sometimes you get in those moments where you're just questioning everything you're doing and you feel super duper tired, but I just have to remember all those hours of training and the effort I've put into this event or this race, and just sometimes just remember that it's crazy that I'm finally there, like I'm in the middle of the mountains and doing this race that I've trained for so long, and just look up and see the views sometimes can really help and just forget that you're racing in a way, and that gives me energy and it takes me back to a good place to again focus on what I have to do to perform or to run as fast as possible. So I guess it's different tricks that you can use, but I think also I had the same experience as you during races where you see your crew or my family. That gives you energy, and you can be alone for 1 or 2 hours and then you suddenly see someone you love, and then you your spirit just lifts 100 times, and then you can continue the rest. And that's really special about a lot of races during the UTMB week or other big races where there's people all the time. Then it's difficult to have bad moments for sure.
Can food help? Does food help you? Is there food you take on a long trail?
Food always helps, I guess.
So what's your the food you take in your bag that nobody knows about, and it's just like your secret food moment? Is there any?
I'm quite boring when it comes to food, I think. I have some gummy bears to treat myself with. I have in the backpack just to take 1 or 2 every kilometer or so, like just to treat myself. But otherwise it's more sports drink and gels that I know really works for me. But when I'm out training, then I sometimes don't use gels and so on. Then I rather take croissant or some bread or a banana or homemade cookies or whatever. Something more normal that especially if it's a long day, then you want a lunch almost, and something more natural, I think. Yeah. Okay, is there any other athletes or people that inspires you in work or in sport that you looked up to as a kid, for example?
I don't know if you've heard of Bernard Moitessier, French sailor, who was one of the first to complete what was before the Vendée Globe, the round the world race without stop. He was a French guy who then decided to not go and cross the line, even if he was first. When he was sailing back up the Atlantic, he decided to just go back to another round the world and not go back to the society, really.
Okay.
And he wrote a book that's quite amazing. I recommend it to you. It's really inspiring. There's something about running too, when you find yourself on your own and you think about all the society, all the crazy life we have. And that guy, the way he analyzes it is inspiring and crazy, but I love it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. So that's somebody I would look up to. And more recently, I followed on Charles Duboulot, Ascension of the Grand Joras in winter last year, the Rolling Stone part in winter. Well, that was crazy. He did this on his own February last year, I think. So minus 17, 20 degrees on his own, like bare hands in the Grand Joras. He's just achieved something that's, to me, unhuman. Like, it's above human, what he did. He's our age, your age, more than my age. He made a film of it too. It's called From Shade to Sunlight, because it's a North Face full on. He spent 5 days in it on his own. Almost had nothing to eat or drink. And just like... yeah, amazed. To me, it's above being human. It's crazy. Who were you looking up to when you were a kid?
I was, of course, looking up to some Nordic skiers like Petter Northug, of course. If you follow Nordic skiing, everybody in my generation has looked up to Petter Northug. He really changed the sport in a a lot of ways and made it more popular for a very long time. And I have so many good athletes that have inspired me to train in different ways. I can't really point a finger on just one except for Petter Northug. Maybe like he was my idol when I was growing up. And then of course when I came into the trail running scene, I started to follow Kilian and Emily Forsberg and Marco De Gasperi, François Dain, and all this legend in this sport, of course, that really inspired me to continue in this sport also. But I take inspirations from a lot of different athletes, both female and male, like see what they are doing well, and if it's something I can learn from them in my own training or personal life, and etc. Not trying to follow exactly in someone's footsteps. I like to do my own thing a lot of the times. Otherwise, generally in life, I really look up to my grandfather, Bengt. He is someone I really admire and like to spend time with. We had the same interest for art and for design and for skiing and so on. So I have a close relationship too, and that's someone I always admire and longing to meet. We now live for a distance from each other, so now the only time where we can meet is in our cabin in Norway, where it's not that far for him to travel there, so we can finally meet. And the cabin is like right below the tree line in the mountains, so we can go on a small hike and up and see.
Relaxing. So what do you do when you don't run? What's the thing you like most when you're not running?
Right now I'm quite busy with school and with some work, so whenever I'm not running, then is coming home, eating, rest a little bit and sleep, and then I have to do some work and to sketch. But I really like it to have something else than just running, and to be creative and to express myself in form and color and so on, that I really enjoy. And then there is of course other things in the sport that I had to take care of. I also really like photography. I sometimes on easier runs or ski tours I take my camera with me and take a lot of photos of friends or nature and so on. So spend some time editing and doing that kind of stuff. Music is always a big interest, playing guitar and so on.
Yeah, so do you run with music ever?
Yes, I do listen to some music. Me and Abby Hall from the team, who got third at UCC this year, and we are quite similar. She's also doing UTMB this year. We made a playlist together that we put our music in that we listen to. So now we have like a UTMB 2023 playlist that we listen to every time we go out training, so that we remember when we are at the start line or during the race, and we listen to that.
Nice.
Yes. What is your interest besides running outdoors and mountains?
The time I have left, I use it with the kids.
Yeah.
They are my biggest interest, I guess, now that I have them. So, yeah, when I don't do sports, I'm at home enjoying, simple games like card games, reading with the kids or taking them outside and ride the bikes with them. They love riding the bikes or skiing or just playing. I think it's the basic, making things, life easy. And we enjoy going on the short trips. We have a van and we just take the kids in the van for a weekend and find some nice lakes or mountains to go to and just walk and ride. Very simple things, and I'm not looking for anything better than this. It's what I love. It's what we all love together. So very simple. And then I have work too, so I have to be, once I've run, worked and enjoyed time with the kids, I think it's time to sleep.
Yeah.
Usually.
There's only some things you can do per day. Yeah.
Exactly. But we have a beautiful life. I mean, I think we live in the mountains, live our things. I feel pretty lucky to being able to do this. And we love cooking too.
Yeah.
Do some cooking.
What do you like to cook?
Everything.
Yeah.
Vegetables mostly we have a veggie garden, so vegetables, fruits from the garden. I like cheese, of course.
Yeah.
Have you had some Beaufort?
Yeah, we won 5 kilos of Beaufort cheese.
Way.
Yeah. So I don't think I can bring everything home.
So you eat it before you get home?
Yeah, we ate a lot yesterday. Yeah, so now I'm quite tired of cheese. But it was really good.
Yeah. That's another reason to go to Pyramenta is to eat Beaufort.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, a bit different cheese from what we have in Norway.
No. So what's your perfect meal in Norway?
Oof, I like salmon. Salmon is probably the best thing you can get in Norway, I think.
We have cheese, you have salmon.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure my favorite thing. Yeah, and you?
I like salmon, and I like, I'm quite a sweet tooth too. I like chocolate.
Chocolate, yeah, chocolate.
I eat one block of chocolate each day.
Dark or sweet? Yeah, dark.
You too?
Yeah, always dark. Is there any other like cultural things that you really enjoy when not spending time in the mountains? Do you listen to music or movies? Any good book or anything?
Yeah, books I mentioned. So La Longue Route, the writer, the sailing. That's read it. You'd love it, I think. And then I actually started studying photography a long time ago, but it didn't last. I only did 1 year. So when you say photography, I love it too.
Yeah.
And I actually like the photos you post on Instagram. I think they're very, very nice, clean, very. And but I don't do any anymore. And I think listening to music is the easiest escape when you can't go out. Not in earplugs or anything. I think having the music loud, either in the car or at home, even with the kids and dancing. I love seeing the kids like pushing the music up, the volume up, and start dancing at home. But I'm not a musician, so I have to play it on the radio. So I wish I could play an instrument and do it for them, but not yet. You play the guitar?
Yes, I play guitar. I love music. It's really big in our family, and for me personally as well.
Do you always carry it with you when you travel?
No, it's quite hard to travel around with the guitar. But I actually, funny story, last year when I was in Chamonix from April until end of UTMB week, I think it was in June or July, we have a chalet that we have in the Adidas Terex team. So we live together and stayed together for 3 months until UTMB week. Me and my teammate Robbie Simpson, we both played the guitar, and we're like, we should get a guitar. So we bought a guitar online on a music store, and then it was shipped to us. So we had a guitar the whole summer, and then we had all on the team sign it. And of course I didn't want to like bring it back home on the plane. So we gave it to our team manager, Charlie, with the signings of everybody in the team. So hopefully she can bring it back to Chamonix next year so we don't have to buy a new one.
Are you going to spend another 4 months in Chamonix?
3 months. I think I'll go there in the beginning of June again. I really love the village and the mountains around there. Is good preparations for the UTMB. What music do you like to listen to?
I like many kind of music, like rock and roll. I like Radiohead a lot, for an international band for sure. Some good old French music, local French groups, les Tétraides. I don't know if you've heard about them.
Now when I spend some time with my French teammate, he listened to a lot of French rap. Yeah. It seems to be quite a big thing here. It's
at the moment
cool,
it is. Yeah, it is. But I'm not such a fan rap. I do listen to it, but it's not my favorite one. I'm more to relaxing, like folk, rock, this kind of music, a bit more relaxed. So if you could have dinner with one personality of one period, living or dead, who would it be?
That's a very good question. I think I would say Bruce Springsteen. Everything he says is like poetry, and I really love his song and would like to have a conversation with him for sure. Otherwise, I don't know. It was a long time ago since I saw my grandfather, so I think I would also really enjoy talking to him. I think and have some time as what I can think about at the moment. How about you?
Any personality? I like the Bruce Springsteen.
It's
a good idea. Yeah, he's very good. I've listened to Bob Dylan a lot too, as well as Bruce Springsteen. No, I don't think it would be. I think that guy that writer. I think I'd love to go and spend a night in the mountain with him probably and see what he has to say, or maybe not saying anything, but really inspiring with his books. So He'd be the one Bernard Matessier would go and listen to, definitely.
So now when we know each other a little bit better, I thought that we play a small game. I will say 3 sentences, and 1 is true and 2 is false. Your mission is to find out which one is false or wrong. Yeah, so my first is that, like I said, I'm really into photography, and I bought this really nice Sony R3 camera, and when I was going on a hike I slipped and it broke the camera, and I only had 2 photos on it. The second one is that I once ran a 80 kilometer at Le Templier, and before the start I realized that I had 2 right shoes. I took the wrong shoes, but I had to borrow a left shoe from my teammate that was a little bit bigger. So it went well in the end, which was it was a long race with that shoe. The third one is I do sketch a lot and draw, but I only draw with blyant, bleach, with no color, because I'm really colorblind, and sometimes it's quite bad when I race. Especially a lot of races, they have red markings, and in Pyramenta they had red and green markings. So sometimes I get lost just because of the markings.
I think the first one is right.
Yeah. That I lost.
You lost the camera.
Luckily, I haven't done that. Yeah.
Okay.
So in fact, I'm super colorblind.
Are you?
Yeah. So remember, Maxi race that we raced, they had red markings, and I couldn't see it, and I just took the wrong turn. And I have done that quite a few times. So to all organizers out there, you should not use red markings. It's horrible. Especially if you place it on the ground where it's green grass or in the forest or anything, it can get really bad. And always have to stay focused to see the markings if it's not very visible and so on. So I think pink is a very good color for seeing, or really bright yellow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, that's a funny one actually. I never thought that people could, how it could impact colorblind people.
So now when I sketch or design stuff, I mostly base on the hex colors or the color codes. Just a funny thing.
Okay, I have the same regarding myself, so 1 true fact and 2 false. First one is that I designed my own snowboard with a very special Doud logo on it. Second is that I got arrested in 2011 in Australia because I had the idea of snowboarding early in the morning in the middle of Sydney's street after a snowy night and drunky night. Or third, I'm the biggest soup eater on the trail running circuit.
The second one, I think it's, would it ever snow in Australia?
It does. It does. I actually spent 6 years in the mountains up there, and I ran a lot up there in summer too.
Yeah.
And but it didn't happen over there. It could have actually. It could really have been true.
It could have. But
I never got arrested.
I guess you no. I guess you did your own snowboard then, maybe.
No. No. But I just eat soup.
You did a lot of soup.
I'm the biggest soup eater. As long as it's over 70 k's.
Yeah.
What I'm longing for is the food stop and the soup. It just makes me, I could start a new race every time I eat soup.
Yeah.
It's perfect for, I don't know, my body likes that salty, very hyper hydrating soup they give us. Usually when I start feeling bad or down, I'm think about that soup waiting for me. And I just run through the soup, get my bowl, drink it and go again, and it feels great.
Okay.
So you have your gummy bears, I have my soup.
I can try soup with gummy bears next time. It could be
I have
good.
both actually. I have gummy bears too.
Oh, yeah.
And sandwiches even sometimes, if it's a very long race.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So UTMB has asked its community what they wanted to know about you. So I will be the spokesperson for a few of their questions right now.
Cool.
So first is a question from Thibaut, and he's asking, how do you combine your studies with training? Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I realized that you really have to be structural in your day to be able to manage doing both things very well. For me personally, I started studying quite late because when I was 20, 21 and just finished gymnasium, I think I wasn't mature enough to do both things. Then I was only training and racing. That was the only thing I could concentrate on. And I think it was only later in life, when I was 25, where I realized I needed something more in my life, and I started studying, and I did want to do that well, and I structured my day so that I could get the training I wanted and also being able to do my schoolwork. Sometimes it's really tough, and I am lucky that the university in Norway have a good program if you're an athlete, so that you can postpone assignments and do things a little bit more remote. So yeah, I'm really lucky there that I have good professors and classmates that can adapt to my sport. But my general tip is that you have to be very structural and eat well and sleep well, definitely, because if you do a lot, you still need to sleep. Then you will have the energy to do
everything.
Yeah,
also.
Exactly.
Then from Vlad, he's asking how long took you hunting the CCC victory? How long did it take between the first time you thought of it and the day it happened?
I think after OCC in 2021, I had the thought of I want to really win CCC. That was my main goal, and that was what I trained for. So during the whole season, I always tried to see what I needed to improve to be able to achieve my goals. I was always trying to measure or compare and see if I was on the right trajectory to be able to do that. And by doing smaller races, local, and also doing some races against my competitors and see where I was standing compared to them and if I needed to improve on something. I think it was not only until the last week where I did a run together with Kilian up Mont-Blanc, where I felt like, okay, I'm in good shape and I can keep up and I'm right where I want to be. Okay, now I have really done everything so that I can do it. Now I just have to go out and do it during the race. Of course, there's always stuff that can happen. So the first thing I'm not sure that I will win when I stand on the start line. Then it's just try to be focused and try to do my plan so that what I know is possible can be achieved. Then during the race, I felt so good from the start so that I knew, okay, I will have a really good chance today if I keep being concentrated and eating enough and taking care of the legs and not doing anything stupid or something I haven't planned. I think it was not only until the descent to Triant where I think the first thought that, okay, now I'm really, really close and I think I can really do this. I still felt really strong in the downhill and in the uphill and had good energy and had the crew teammates around the course that always cheered me on and gave me extra energy to do the thing well. I think it was around there where it's like, okay, now I will do it.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
From Daniel, do you have any motto or something similar?
I have several kinds of mottos or like things that I try to think about both in training and in general in life. When it comes to training, I try to really listen to the body and to when I'm able to absorb the training and so I call that open body. Now my body is open for to absorb the training and to be doing it well. On the other side, I have closed body when I'm not able to absorb, when I'm tired and when I'm unmotivated and so on. So I have those two kind of states where I try to distinguish if I will be able to train hard or if I need to rest. And general in life, I think if it's not enjoyable, then I don't want to do it. I like to do what I enjoy and I want to do the stuff that gives me meaning and I don't think about what other people do and to go my own path, really. Enjoy the process.
Nice. Now the last one is from Les Genoux dans le GIF. Have you heard about them?
Yes. Yes.
So you expect something...
I expect something crazy if it's from them, yeah.
So they ask, I'm going to take a picture out here and describe it. I'm sure you know what picture it is about. And they're asking how to perform a technical gesture without having pain. And for these who are listening, the picture I'm handing to Peter is is the one where we can see his ankle being completely twisted and him just running as if almost nothing happened. So how can you actually do this without like crying in pain?
Oh, thank you. That's a very nice picture. I don't know actually. I think this is the photo that we were talking about. It's a very lucky photographer that took this. I actually don't remember it. That's really? The funny thing. I didn't feel it. I remember one time during the race that I maybe twisted my left foot, but not my right one. I think this the picture we are looking at, and this is just sometimes you twist your ankle a little bit and then you just roll it over, not putting fully pressure on it, and then I guess it can look like this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's also from the training with higher stack shoes and just punishing my ankles. Maybe I'm not very flexible. I don't know. Yeah, and I didn't break it the day after, I think. So yeah, but thank you for the pictures. I will set it up on the shelf for sure. So the spring is coming closer. What is your big goal for 2023?
2023 would be another maxi race for me. I try to do as good as you did 2 years ago. But the very big one is I want to compete into the TDS.
Yeah.
It should be the first over 120 kilometers I will do.
Nice.
So I'll try to prepare for this and to make sure that I enjoy it as much as I can, because I really want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
It's two very nice races for sure.
Have you done the TDS?
No,
Not
never.
yet?
I run a little bit on the course, but it looks amazing. Yeah.
It goes close to Piramenta too.
Yeah.
Close around this area, and I really want to see this. And
yeah. Do you have any other plans with your family or something? Some travels?
We have to plan some holidays with the van.
Yeah.
It would be around here. We have such a nice place, and such nice places around here. But Norway is on the plan for. We just wait for them to be a bit older, because it's a long way from here to Norway.
Yeah.
It's a long drive. But spending a month or two up there, and I've heard that the weather was usually crap. So yes, we have to plan a long trip to make sure that we get the beautiful days. We get to enjoy some beauty.
Exactly, so that you don't miss the 2 weeks of summer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That we are right there, and the right timing. And then what about you? Like your next milestone for 2023?
Yeah, I will go to Ultra Trail Madeira in the start of the season. So have a very long race in the start of the season.
How long is this?
115. So it will be my longest race so far, and really looking forward to that and to see how I will perform during the night and to have that experience. Then I will go home to Norway and hopefully ski a little bit in May. It looks like there's a lot of snow there now, so that will be nice. And then I will come down to Chamonix again and do some scouting for the UTMB course and hopefully climb the Mont-Blanc and do some mountaineering stuff.
Hopefully Mont-Blanc will be opened this year. Fingers crossed. And then is just preparations for UTMB. I have also planned to do Eiger by UTMB, the 51k. So that will be my last race before the actual UTMB. The big one.
Yeah. And then the fall I haven't planned so much yet. I just want to get through the summer and just focus on TMB, and then we will see.
And longer term, like when you grow up, I would say.
When I grow up,
what do you want to do?
Hopefully, I'm 28, so I'm half the way there maybe. But I'm studying design now, and I think that is what I would like to do in the future. If it's within the sport industry, I don't know. I don't think so. I would like to do something else within design. We'll see. It changes from week to week almost. And but I think I will do sports for a long time. And trail running is a sport that you can do for a very long time, I think. And it's always new races, new adventures. And I'm looking forward to doing that for a long time, I think. I also have a personal goal to build my own house in Norway, or at least draw it. I'm really into architecture. So that is a life goal that I have. And for you?
Around the world with the kids one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any special like place or just?
Probably, I think I really want to go to Nepal.
Yeah.
Like spend a bit
me
of time
too.
with them in Nepal and New Zealand, because I've done a lot in Australia, but not New Zealand. So these two places for sure in the bucket list with them. But yeah, take some time to do it and time to travel.
Yeah.
So this would be, that would be great if we could achieve this.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was very nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and I'm sure we'll meet again.
Yes.
Yeah, at UTMB then.
Yeah.
You'll be there.
Exactly.
When I arrive, and I'll be there when you arrive. I'm sure.
And I will be around the area the whole summer, so let's catch up and do a run together. That would be amazing.
With pleasure. Yeah, I'll give you a call. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for today. We hope you enjoyed this moment and found some inspiration to get out on the trail paths. If you did, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share it with a friend, a colleague, or someone you just crossed paths with. If you don't want to miss the next episode, subscribe to the podcast and follow at UTMB World Series on social media. We will be back next month for a new extraordinary meetup. Stay tuned.